everyone, and welcome to our Women's History Month special feature on our 3 News app. I'm Barbie Leo.
And I'm meteorologist Faith Colbert.
So during Women's History Month, 3 News, we're celebrating moms by acknowledging the value of work and motherhood, by sharing the stories of women who have broken barriers, and that's why we invited 3 super moms with us to join us today, because our topic is about working women balancing work and life, right? So we invited Mirakal Simmons, Catherine Hilliard, and Nekeish Joseph. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us. So I want to know a little bit more about your background and, of course, about your family. Who wants to go first?
Okay. My name is Nekeish Joseph. I work as a pre-K para here for CCISD. I have 3 boys and that are very active in sports and band and robotics, so we're always on the go.
Catherine?
I'm Catherine Hilliard. I'm an attorney here in Corpus. My husband and I have a law firm, Hilliard Law, that we run and operate together. We are the modern day Brady Bunch, so we have 7 children amongst the 2 of us, ranging in ages from 36 to 9 years old, and recently welcomed 3 grandchildren. So we have a big, busy clan, and we love every second of it.
Beautiful chaos.
Beautiful chaos for sure.
Mirakal?
My name is Mirakal Magill. I've been married for almost 30 years. We have 2 kids. We call them kids, but they're adults. They'll always, be our kids. We've always had like a busy lifestyle, busy schedules. Both our kids growing up were heavy in sports. We were always at a track meet here, a football game there. Just very active and just managing family, managing life.
And that brings us to our first question. How do you juggle career and a family life? How do you turn busy into balance? Does anybody want to go first?
I think
Catherine?
balance is different for everyone. I think
I agree.
everybody has their own definition of balance, and I know what mine is, or at least at the age of 50, I have finally come to terms with what that is for me. And it's for sure family, my faith is very important, work, and a little bit of me time. Exercise is very important in my life. So, and I don't really measure it in terms of hours for each, but I always feel it. I always know when I'm in balance and when I'm out of whack. So I just try to listen to myself, listen to my body, and if I feel off balance in any one of those areas, I just try to focus on it a little bit more. But I know for me, it's the village that surrounds me of support, both family and non-family. Oftentimes when people say to me, how do you do it all? I always respond and say, I don't do it all, but I have an amazing support system, and my husband is #1 in that support system. And that's what allows me to keep my balance and to keep things moving and hopefully everybody happy, including myself.
And that's very important, because we are going to talk about that support. Not only do we get from family, but from friends. But I want to hear from both of you as well. How do you juggle both, the challenges of being a mom and of course, work? What's your balance?
Okay. My balance is I have a strong village that helps me out, from my mother to close, good friends. We have a schedule, we all link it together, and if one cannot make it, the next fills in, and we just help each other out.
I think balance for me, it's about prioritizing what's important, and then also picking and choosing like my battles. I'm a firm believer of work smarter, not harder, and not adding too many things onto my plate. And just being able to say no, because no is a complete sentence. And when you do that, you're controlling what is on your plate. You're not allowing other things to kind of interfere, to throw you off your balance, and just managing that way. And then taking time out for like self-care and being able to regulate self as you manage these busy schedules with home and job and my church. That's a huge that's a huge priority in my life as well, my balancing my church activities.
Would you say, as it pertains to that balance, and as we're talking about Women's History Month, would you say that you have any gender-specific challenges that maybe you go through that, you know, other men in our same profession or other hobbies that we do maybe don't face, that kind of also go into that work-life balance as well?
I think I've faced it a lot in my career just because I'm a lawyer, and it's I guess historically been very male dominated, and then other activities and organizations that I've been a part of usually always are predominantly men. And so for me, what I try to do in my life, and I've just set this rule, you know, in the last 10 years, is I try to do everything while the kids are in school. You know, I don't want to do anything in the evenings if I don't have to. I want to be there for pickup. I want to be there for extracurriculars. And men don't really have those restrictions as much as women do. So when they want to schedule a business meeting at 5 and, you know, I have to say, you know, I'm out, that's a little difficult for me. It's become less difficult over time. But I think that, you know, they always have probably wife or partner that is helping out in that regard. And so they don't have to say no as often maybe as we do. So I've faced that a lot, but I found that they're very understanding about it, and that over time they've learned to accommodate. And so then it becomes, you know, no, we're just going to do a morning meeting or an afternoon meeting to accommodate. So that's been very nice to see as well.
Yeah, I would have to say the same in the fields that I work in now. I've had the pleasure of having a male boss and a female boss. And maybe there's more understanding when it comes to a female boss than it is a male boss. As far as that gender role, not having to have experienced that type of role. And so I've experienced it on both sides, and I have to say that having that female boss and her can identify with motherhood and the things that we're challenged with as mothers, balancing work and motherhood and managing a home. There's more understanding and compassion and empathy there.
What about you, Nekeish?
As for me, for work, I haven't encountered any of that yet. So the only place I really can see it on is like on the sports field. My son's baseball nonstop, and I'm out there with him, and it's mostly male figures there more. So they expect the mom to be the team mom, but I'm one that I'll be active. I'll get out there and throw and do everything with them as well.
Let's talk about mom guilt, because it's a real thing. So when have you experienced mom guilt? Are you still experiencing it? Something that you did just maybe in the beginning, and now you learn how to deal with it? Like you said, no is a sentence.
Definitely mom guilt there, especially when, for me personally, when I went back to school to get my master's, and there's a high demand there for, you know, for studying, for going to classes, and there was a time where I couldn't be at everything, and when I was at the football games, at the track meets with my books, reading, studying, and like we're saying, trying to balance it all and just be present. And so there was some mom guilt there, and still trying to meet my own goals and, you know, be there for your kids. There's a little mom guilt there, but you do your best.
And I don't think it ever goes away, right? The mom guilt is
doesn't.
always there.
It's always there.
And in my experience, I have one particular daughter, I won't name names, but she, growing up, you know, really did miss us when we weren't around. So our work takes us in places, and we have to travel quite a bit. But she was never that forgiving, you know, maybe in elementary years. And now that she's older and she kind of gets it and sees what we're doing and sees how busy we are most days, she's very much more forgiving, and in fact will offer it and say, Mom, this is not something you need to be at. Mom, I'm going to give you a pass on this one. And it's very nice. I mean, I still have the mom guilt. Like, even if she gives me a complete pass, I still feel like I should be there. But so I don't think it ever goes away, even when you are given permission by your children. And when they say it's okay, sometimes.
I agree. You still have that mom intuition, like I need to be there. Yes. Like, you need to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm experiencing that as of now because I'm in school, and so finding that balance to just be at everything, but also take that time out to study, to finish pursuing my goal. But at the end, they know my end goal is to finish school, and so they're very supportive on that when they know that I'm studying and need to get that done, and they'll double check and be like, Mom, did you do your homework?
They're checking you.
They hold me accountable just as I hold them.
I love that. So what surprised you most about motherhood?
Gosh.
Everything?
Yeah.
Everything, I think.
Yes, it's been a journey. It's fun. I'm still growing and learning with it. I learn something new every day, whether they're teaching me something, and it's just fun, and it just gives me life to just push even harder to make sure I'm doing everything that I need to do and be that example.
Anybody else?
You know, I think, and you can probably relate to this, so when you have kids at a young age, you always think they're going to be with you forever. Like, this is never going to end. The extracurricular and the homework and the going out and the staying up late at night and the worrying. But it does. I had my first one leave the nest in the fall. She left for college, and everything just feels different now. Everything hits different. Everything feels different, because suddenly no, they do leave, and it is real. It's not just a myth. I mean, they do leave home, and then you only get the occasional, maybe once a week phone call, and it's terrible. So suddenly, my freshman in high school, the days are just going by so quickly, where I didn't feel that necessarily so much with my first one, but now having gone through it, it's very real to me, and that surprised me a lot.
And with it being so much, like you said, in motherhood, you know, we make sure we're there for our kids, we're there for our family, but what about for yourself? You know, having that self-care, whether that be having that village of other likewise moms, or having more of that individual time for yourself to make sure, you know, you're replenishing what you need.
I have gotten better about that recently. I mean, I make sure that I carve out some time for myself, and also with my husband. I mean, we make sure that we make each other a priority, because we're big believers in, if the unit is happy, the marital unit, the marriage is good, then everything else flows from there. Everything else will be fine. So we have really made it a point, even if it means missing a game or missing an event, because there's no way we could possibly set aside 4 or 5 days without missing something. And again, the kids over the years have become more forgiving with us, but if you don't do that, I just feel like everything else is out of balance and out of whack.
You have to take care of yourself first, right? We have to remember that. We have to say, no, I'm going to take that away from this. No is a sentence.
Yes. I like that.
Is a sentence.
You have to be intentional when it comes to taking care of self, taking care, doing self-care. You have to be intentional with that, and just not allowing people to like bogart your time and your energy, and it's precious in a way, because you have to be mentally well, and you have to practice mental wellness.
Absolutely. Sure.
And I know especially for you, I know you're the women's ministry director. You deal with women all the time, whether they have kids or they don't. Like you said, being intentional and setting those no boundaries, especially as it pertains to work and life.
Yeah.
What is your biggest advice that you do give women that you know you speak life into?
I would say definitely, as far as my faith, I would say definitely keep God at your forefront. Make Him a priority. Allow Him to lead and guide you in the things that he wants you to do and the things that he may not want you to do. A lot of times we get so busy and we have our own agendas, and my faith tells me that leave room for God on your agenda to lead and guide you through your day, and just allow God's peace to kind of to fill you each and every day.
Your advice to other career moms that are going through the same things that we're all going through, that may not have a tribe, maybe they're watching this to get some advice.
I've been head of the PTO for a few years at my kids' school, and I always, when I give my presentation in the fall, I always start with this: come when you can, don't feel guilty when you can't, because we were all in those shoes. I was a young lawyer at one time who was putting in 60 hours a week and couldn't be there for my oldest daughter all the time. I couldn't be there at the Valentine's Day party. I wasn't baking cookies. I wasn't bringing the cupcakes. I was the one that would say, sign up for something that we can just buy at the store on the way to school. I mean, we were all there at some point. So, I'm in a different phase of my life now where I'm very fortunate and blessed to be able to be there. But when I couldn't, there were other moms that stepped up and stepped in. And so I'm very glad that now I can pay that forward. So I always tell them, look, come when you can. If you can come for 30 minutes, great. If you can't, don't feel guilty about it. We got you. We got this covered. You will also come to a point in your life where maybe it's your turn, and then you're paying it forward for those moms who stepped in when you couldn't. So that's the advice I try to give based on my experience.
And I know, Nekeish, you're big on, like you said, I know all of you, but especially you mentioned having that village, having people to step in and help. What about for new expecting moms who, they maybe need to get that village together, they need to find their troops and find people to help? What is your advice to kind of help get people jump started into that?
My advice would be, I don't have to think back to. Just getting close with different people. You'll find those that are there, that are really, during that time, you'll find those that are really there for you. And they just form, because I had friends that I didn't even think. And then all of a sudden, that's how my village just formed.
Yeah.
What do you want your kids to learn from you? And then when you turn around, what have you learned from your kids? Because they teach lessons as well. They make you open your eyes sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I think what I would want my kids to learn from me is like perseverance, resilience, adjustment. You can do hard things, not to quit. Definitely keep your faith. What I've learned from my kids, that it is okay to be transparent. It is okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to admit your mistakes.
I love that. What about you,
That's
Catherine?
what I learned from them.
I hope what they learn from me is that you can have it all if you want to. You can do all the things that you want to do, but it takes hard work. I mean, you have to earn it. I want them to be good people first and foremost, and I think and I hope that we've instilled that since they were little. In our home, giving is just a way of life. It's not something that we do during the holidays or during a special occasion. I mean, it's a way of life, and we try to really make that clear in our home. I want them all to be kind and servant leaders at heart, and make that a way of life for them, because I think that will always, lead them in the right direction. What I learned from them, my one daughter especially, who just left for college, she's very different from me in the sense that I'm very black and white. I became a lawyer. Everything for me is very black and white. My creative gene I don't have one at all. And she got it all. And so she likes to tell me now, okay, let me get this straight. You know, since we were little, you know, you've taken us to every Broadway show you can. You like to take us to concerts. You were taking me to Beyonce before it was appropriate to take me to a Beyonce concert. But I think that was me wanting to explore that side that I don't feel like I have, that creativity in me. But I've been taking my kids to those types of things since they were little. She said, and now you're mad that I'm not going to be a doctor. You know, she's studying English literature and philosophy and doing all these things that make me so proud. So she just paved her own way and carved her own path, and I'm very proud of her for that. And I just learned that, you know, that's also, it's not always black and white, you know, it's not always doctor, lawyer, teacher, you know, she's figuring it out, and I love that about her.
I love that. Keish?
And for me, I make sure that my kids keep God first, and just to be bold in whatever they do, just have the faith to try different things and step out of their comfort zone, even though it may be hard, but in the end, they'll get the reward in return.
And what have you learned from them?
From them, it's to step out of my comfort zone myself, putting it into practice, and just showing them that I really can do it so they could continue following along.
Right. What would you say that motherhood has taught you that you can also apply to womanhood?
Resilience. I mean, you know, all of us have faced that when we're in the middle of, you know, changing diapers and on a conference call at the same time, and also, you know, booking a doctor's appointment because maybe your child's, I mean, multitasking, I think we are super women at that. I think that you can take into the workforce any day, and it's a skill that I think is coveted by most employers, but I think those two, you know, those two go hand in hand. You just learn how to multitask under the most extreme circumstances sometimes.
I would have to say definitely multitasking, and just stay calm. When mistakes happen, they happen. You learn from them, and you move forward. That's motherhood, and in the workforce, mistakes are going to happen. You learn from them, and you move forward.
And I know we were also sharing earlier, I know you were saying how before in the day they didn't have the wellness room, and how nowadays we live in the, you know, a lot more employers are starting to be more in favor of moms, you know, the nursing room, the wellness rooms. How does that make you guys feel, you know, especially having multiple kids, to see the growth of, you know, the world catching on and being more in favor of moms in today's world?
Having two daughters that are both, one's 19 and one's 15, I learn from them every day because they were born into that environment, whereas, you know, we were in a little bit of a different environment when we were their age, and especially in the workforce. But I'll never forget, one of my daughters at dinner one day said, "What do you mean they charge us to have babies?" She couldn't get over the fact that we are bringing, let me get this straight, we are bringing life into this world, and they charge us to do that. So they just live in a very different world right now, where I love it, because they believe that, you know, women have their rightful place and should be treated as such. So that's fun to see.
Them. Yeah, for them. So what do you love most about being a mom? The most.
Well, the most. I guess I would have to say what I love most is that connection that I have with my kids. The conversations that we have, and just that bond that I have with my kids. I really love that. Just the things that we teach one another. Seeing them grow into full adults, And I guess them getting out on their own and practicing what I have tried to instill in them, and just them adulting. Just adulting. I love that about motherhood, just seeing that reward and just what you put out there in the world, that it's doing good, that they're kind, that they're doing well.
Yeah, I love watching them develop into their own people. I mean, you have to step back sometimes and go, I created that, and I don't know where that part came from or where that part came from, but it is beautiful. And then watching, we are in a grandparent phase right now, so then watching them become parents and how they parent is really one of my favorite phases right now, and learning to step back and say, now just keep your mouth shut. That's their kid and they're going to parent their own way. But it's really beautiful to see how that evolves and the influence maybe that you had on them as they become older.
After a while, you become advisors.
That's right.
Yeah, you
You're
can't
giving
parent
advice.
them. You
Yes.
become advisors.
And there's no cookie cutter way to be a parent. Everybody parents differently, and there's no
Yes.
right or wrong. There's just a right for you.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
That's right.
How about yourself? What do you love most about being a mom?
Seeing their personalities. I have 3 boys. Their personalities are completely different, from being quiet to some shy as well, and just growing in times where I think that they wouldn't do something, they'll like give something to someone with kindness and different things, and just go out of their way to help someone else in need, or just to be kind.
So as we come to the end of our discussion, I came across something that I wanted to share because I thought it was nice. Okay, ready? All right. I finally understand is the title. Maybe my mom wasn't always exhausted because she was doing so much, but because she was feeling so much. The weight of love, worry, sacrifice, and the endless thoughts that never let her rest. I get it now. Motherhood isn't just about what we do, it's about everything we carry in our hearts. No wonder she was tired. No wonder I am too. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
And with that, we want to thank you 3 ladies for being with us today. We appreciate you so
Thank
much
you.
taking
Thank
time
you
to
for
talk to
having
us about being moms
Yeah.
and all the challenges and struggles.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Faith, I want you to
for
close it
having
out for
us.
us.
All right. Well, that wraps us up to the end of our women's history. We want to thank you so much for tuning in and watching. These ladies were just great. We had such great questions, such great answers. So thank you so much for watching here with us.